Okay, in this video we're going to load up some tape and have a look at the transport controls of the tape machine, and I'll talk through all of the different parts of the tape path as we go along, and I'll try to do this reasonably slowly in a step-by-step kind of way for those of you that might be a bit uninitiated in the ways of using tape. I know I was before I did this and kind of worked it out for myself. I probably should have watched a YouTube video like this. Hopefully you can see reasonably well from that angle. First of all, my tape machine is on. I've pressed the power button, switched it on. Next I'm going to load up an empty reel onto the take-up hub. So it's like three prongs that the tape empty tape reel will hold on to. Then with the hub you lift it up, you twist it clockwise or anti-clockwise by let's see, 60 degrees, and then it will drop down and lock into place. Next we're going to get supply tape, and I have got a reel of tape that was given to me by the person that sold me the tape machine a couple of years ago. I'm going to do the same again, load the tape onto the hub, lift and lock the hub in place. Now from this angle you might not be able to see exactly, so I'll drop a photo into this video to show how it does work, the exact path of the tape. So I always give myself a little bit of extra tape, and that includes a bit of leader that I've stuck onto the end. I've also, I think this is a bit of a dodge, I put a little bit of tape on the end of the leader to help it stick to the inside of the reel. First we go around the right hand side of the tension arm. Tension arm, it's a little spindly looking thing. Then around the left hand side of the impedance roller. Is that the impedance roller? Can't remember. Across the tape heads, there's little notches in the tape path that will kind of keep the tape aligned to where it's supposed to go. So I wouldn't be too worried about the height location. Just make sure it's going past the different parts of the tape mechanism in the right order. Then between this roller here, the name of which I can't remember, it's pretty bad, and the capstan shaft. Now the capstan shaft, and here on this roller here, when this roller comes into contact with the capstan, that's what actually is driving the tape. So the take up and the supply reels are really just there to take up slack of the tape, but actual movement of the tape is going over the capstan here, around this other tension arm over here. And what you'll notice, I'll show this in a close-up at some point, when I put some pressure on the tension arm, it actually starts the capstan motor running, and if you could see this up close, you could see that the capstan is now operating, spinning. Alright, I'm going to take the tape up around the tension arm here. I'm going to dodgily use that bit of tape just to stick the tape to the inside of the reel, wind on a bit of tape, and give myself a bit of slack so I can wind on more tape. Once the tape has, there's enough of the tape is through, the pressure of the tape on itself around the hub is enough then to put tension on the tape to bring the tension arm up. The capstan motor is now engaged and spinning, and if I were to now press play, hopefully I've got enough tape on there that it will just start to take up. And she's running. Right, I'm just going to quickly run through the different parts of the tape path again. Again, we have got over here the supply reel. Tape is being supplied from the left-hand side to the right-hand side. The tape then runs around here. This is a tension arm. It just puts a bit of tension on the tape for when it's winding on and off the reel. It then comes around the impedance roller. The impedance roller is then attached to a mechanism inside the machine which then runs the tape counter. So if I just quickly press play, see tape running off the reel, and you'll notice then the tape counter is counting upwards in minutes and seconds. Hit stop. The tape is then running across the tape heads. If I just press play, you'll notice that there's the tape lifters. The tape is currently lifted off the heads. If I press play, you'll notice that they retract back into the machine, and the tension across the tape brings the tape into contact with the heads until I press stop. Tape lifters come back out, take the tape off the heads. In the MX50, there are 3 heads. The first head is the erase head. Erases the tape 1 track at a time, depending on what you've selected on the machine. The next head is the record head. This does playback and record, so you can play back off the record head. So you can monitor if you are trying to overdub on a single track while playing back the other tracks, because otherwise you're playing back off the playback head, which is the 3rd head along. If you were to be, why don't I just take a bit of tension off the tape, pull the tape out, and you can see those heads a bit more clearly. Give me a second. There we go, there are those heads. Erase, record, and playback. If you think about the time between recording on this head here and playback here, if you were trying to do an overdub on a multi-track recording and you were listening to the playback head but recording to the record head, you would be slightly out of sync and slightly out of time. Again, here is the capstan motor and the pinch roller. Thank you, everybody. The pinch roller, which you'll notice, I'll just kind of, first of all, I'm just going to pull up the tension arm. So imagine there's tape on the machine, pulls the tension arm up, and you'll see that the capstan is now spinning. I'll just rethread the machine, put the tape right through there where it's supposed to go, put the tension back on the tape, but also put it around the tension arm. Again, you'll notice just in detail that there is grooves on a lot of this componentry. The tape fits perfectly into those grooves, so you don't need to worry too much about getting the tape in the right place. It should just kind of make its way into the right spot as you put tension onto the tape. Now, tension is on the tape, has pulled the tension arm into place, capstan motor is spinning, and I will now press play again, and you watch what happens to the pinch roller. It comes into contact with the capstan motor with tape in between. Now, the pinch roller is a free spinning roller, and so it is spinning because of its interaction with the capstan. The capstan spinning, it's pulling tape through. You'll notice a bit of a white tape just went through. That's leader in my tape, just marking a part on the tape for me. Okay, so just come back out, and I'm going to stop the machine for a second. Now remember, I said that the capstan motor is pulling the tape through the machine, but when we're fast forwarding or rewinding, it's then a different action on the tape. The capstan motor will not come into place, and the rewind and fast forward modes, it is the supply and the take-up reel motors which are spinning and spooling tape onto or off of those 2 different tape reels. I'm going to put the machine into fast forward. You'll see it's absolutely spinning along. Look at the counter. And I am going to stop and put the machine into rewind. Another bit of leader flying through the machine there. There we go. Flying backwards at a quite high speed. almost back to the start of the tape. Cool. I'm not going to mess around for the purposes of this video with the high speed and the low speed, the speed button, but basically you can run the tape at two different speeds, 15 inches per second or 7.5 inches per second. I go with 15.5 inches per second. Or is it 30 and 15? Somebody will correct me in the comments. And then you can select the different diameter of the reel. I've got 10.5 inch reels, more tape, more time that you can record, but you can also set this for 7.5 inch. And the edit button, which we'll look at another video, for punching in and out when you're doing overdubs, etc. Next, I'm going to show you the external controller. All right, now I've got my external remote controller connected to the machine. I'll show you where that's connected at the back. If you saw the previous intro video, you'll have seen the connector on the back. Important that you turn your machine off before you use the external remote controls. This one here is the CR-705A, and this is just remote transport control. Ooh. I've got about it's for about 5 meters in this cable, so that means I can move away from the tape machine to use that transport control. So if I was going to go and sit over in the corner and play the guitar, I could just bring the remote control with me while I hit the buttons. And you'll see if I just press play, it does exactly what it says on the box. Plays the tape. And again, stop. I believe that if I'm using the external box, I can still also use the transport controls on the machine. Let's tell you what happens then as well if we press fast forward while we're playing. Now, what you'll notice when we did do that, oh, sorry, it's my daughter screaming at people, is that the tape lifters have remained, oh sorry, let me press play. So play, tape lifters have disengaged, so tape is against the tape heads, and if I press fast forward, it does lift the tape lifters. And stop. I do have a separate remote control which is actually called the auto locator, which I'll show you in a different video. But that's enough for now. What you'll notice that so far for tape control, I haven't pressed record. We'll have a look at record in a separate video.